Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Man Within podcast. Today's guest is really no stranger to the show. His name is Shiraz Siddique. We've had him on several times, but today I have him in studio, and we're going to go into all things communication, especially from a male perspective. We get beat up a lot in this area as being bad communicators. We're gonna reshape that conversation a little bit today, and really, there's nobody better on the planet to do it than this guy right here. So, Shiraz.
Yeah, that is really bad communication. There are tons of people who are much better than me on the topic of communication.
No, nobody. No one in the world, man. It's you right here. No pressure.
You know, if I'm going to give props to anybody, it's if you want to become the best communicator on the planet, just get married.
Yeah.
Just get married.
True.
And if you want to be, graduate from being a master's and get your PhD, stay married.
Right, stay married. Maybe have some kids along the way.
Right?
Yeah, good way to sharpen your
family dynamic
skills.
when it's in your face every single day.
Yeah.
And if you can become effective in communicating in your own home, man, that has legs to carry. But what you'll find is great communicators last longer in their relationships.
Right.
There is really a strong connection, but we'll get into that.
We'll get in there.
And thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, of course. Now, I introduced you as Shiraz, but in our home, you're really known as Chona. That's how everybody knows you, because I have two kids now.
Yeah.
And they both love you, Judah, especially my oldest, who's a little more cognizant. So why are you Chona? Explain to my audience what Chona means.
Oh, man. Okay, so in our language, in Hindi and Punjabi and Urdu, there's kind of a blend there.
Sure.
Chota is small.
Okay.
Okay. Nana is grandfather.
Right.
So being your wife's parents' younger sibling,
Yeah.
that makes me
Younger cousin.
something like
Right?
that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we always said that I never wanted to pick a name.
Yeah.
He's just going to call me what he organically calls me.
Yeah.
And that's what the name is going to be. So it ended up being little grandfather.
Right.
Literally translated.
Yeah.
And that's where the name came from. But you know, it's interesting, even on topic of communication, right?
Right.
You hang out with Judah, and for the first little while, it's like, what is he saying? And I always have to go to mama or dada for interpretation.
Yes, he's at that stage. Yeah.
Right? Like,
it's like a secret code.
What do you say? But I got to tell you, if I spend a couple hours with him, half a day with him, I know what he's saying. Like, you're in a position to become a better communicator when you focus on the one who is communicating.
Right.
And so I find even with Judah, even at that age too, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful age, right?
Yeah.
It's I understand him a lot better the longer that I pay attention to him.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
just think that's one of the keys in communication. Just pay attention
Yeah.
to who is communicating.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to get into all of that.
Yeah.
Are men bad communicators?
Oh, come on, man. I don't enjoy narratives that are pushed and accepted without being tested.
Okay.
Test the narrative. How this is not a bias or comment towards women in any way. This is just about celebrating men, and it is possible to celebrate men without tearing down women.
Yeah, you can celebrate both.
And
Yep.
and so this has nothing to do with women. You look at majority of construction sites. Majority are majority men. How do they put up buildings that last hundreds of years if they're not effectively coordinated in their communication? We're great communicators. How do sports teams, male sports teams, how do they perform at such high levels? And they're coordinated, and they know what their signals are on a baseball field. They're doing all this stuff, like tickling their nose. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
They're doing all these things, and they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, true.
How does that happen if we're poor communicators? We're not. We just communicate in very different ways. And there's an opportunity for us to step into what communication means based on, again, who is communicating. I just think that we are fantastic communicators.
Yeah.
I also feel that the area of improvement perhaps is interpreting what communication means.
Okay, let's talk about that. So what does that mean?
Okay, I have a challenge. I come to you. Hey, Satya, this is going on in my life. And we all do, right? Like as men at different times, we have different challenges, which is fine. There's no problem with having problems, right? Your responsibility when I come to you is understanding, because your inclination is you want to help me.
Yeah.
But what if it is, I just want to be heard or I just need a hug? Like, what's your responsibility when somebody comes to you and says, hey, can we talk about this? Can we talk about that? Yeah, we can talk about everything. But you have a responsibility to bifurcate or really split it into 3, help, hug, or do I need to be heard? Now, if I'm growing in my communication ability, perhaps I don't know how to let you know that.
Right.
That I just need to be heard. Now, should I become more effective in my communication? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But while I'm growing and getting there,
Yeah.
I'm coming in a vulnerable place to you. Perhaps you should also understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I feel like we almost need Ritu here as well to get the other side of it, right? Because I think that's really true. I know Shaloma and I literally had a conversation last night or 2 nights ago just about like the whole mind reading thing, right? Because I think what you just said, that was really helpful. Help, hug, or heard.
Yeah.
Right? Three different reasons that someone would come to you. And sometimes I think the pressure gets put on us, like you should just know. And that was sort of the conversation was like, actually, you can really help me. You can help a brother out here. Just tell me what you're looking for before you go into it. And actually, both of us win. You get what you're looking for, and I don't have any guesswork. And then that conversation goes a lot smoother.
But Satya, I just want you to know what I need.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Let me flip it on you. How do you handle that in a scenario where expectation of communication isn't aligned? Because that tends to be a breakdown in communication is expectation.
Yeah.
You think I'm supposed to know what you need from this interaction. And so therefore your reaction is going to be misaligned.
Yeah.
And then my counteraction to your reaction of my initiation of action of communicating with you is not going well now.
No, it's just a downward spiral.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think that there's a joint responsibility of interaction. And if I can share a little bit more and you share a little bit more, perhaps we talk more about what we're going to communicate and why before we get to how.
Yeah.
Because like I always demand that you should know how to communicate with me.
Right.
And you're like, yeah, but you should know how. You should have said that to me. Why don't we lay groundwork down a little bit more? Now, there's different contexts, right? There's the marital context.
Yeah.
Relationship context.
Yeah.
What about guys just hanging out with guys?
Yeah.
Right?
It's totally different.
We can say a lot just about like, bro, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up? Right?
Yeah, 100%.
And we've said a lot just in that greeting.
Yes.
We've said a lot.
True.
It's been a while, man. Oh my gosh, I miss you. And there's tears. No, there isn't tears. It's just a little fist bump. But in it, we're appreciating each other's our presence, right? Like
Absolutely.
we're in each other's presence.
Yeah.
Man, it's great to see your face.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to tell you how great your nails look and your eyebrows look and your eyelashes look and your lipstick every time we connect?
Right.
No, guys just have a different way of appreciating it.
Yeah.
And is that okay?
Yeah.
That's part of the challenge. Who gets to determine what communication is okay when it comes to male communication? Are we doing it in a way where there's a framework of communication that also involves our softer side? And does it always have to involve our softer side? Is there a framework of communication men to men that is based on male tendencies?
Yeah.
Now, in your line of work, and what you do on a regular basis, what patterns have you seen where guys can just communicate with guys and it's understood?
Well, I mean, I think honestly, that's one of the first things we hear when people join our community is guys start scrolling through the feed and they see the stories and they see what people are going through. And they're just like, I thought I was the only one. So I think that's something that is kind of missed is just actually the existence of a gathering of guys actually communicates a lot. And especially with what we do. We're helping guys quit pornography addiction. So it's like, we're all here for the same reason. There's just already a baseline understanding of like, okay, we're all kind of in it. Like we're all sort of going through it. And there's not a lot that really needs to get communicated there, which is great. It's the same way that, you know, if you have two people that love a sports team or love a game and they go to a game together, there's no conversations about the rules of the game. they know the rules of the game. Like they can go a lot deeper in those conversations because there's a baseline. So with our community, it's definitely the same. One thing I was going to say that's interesting though, and this will still answer your question, is I actually remember this, and you were a little bit part of the story when Shefa passed away. That's Shaloma's oldest brother. And so, obviously it was a really difficult time. He passed away at 30. He was very young, mental illness and all of that. And her dad, Chris, he's been very outspoken that like he hates funerals. Just in general, he hates funerals. And he used to say that long before Shefa passed. So that day was really, really difficult for him. His son passed away, but he also just, I've been at other funerals with him and he sits in the back. And it's not because of the person or whatever, he just doesn't like it. And so, but obviously that day he had to be in the front row and everything else. So the ceremony happens, and then there's the reception afterwards. And there was like two parties at the reception. One was a group of people that they're processing, they're chatting. It's just what you'd expect at a funeral reception. And then there's the Jamaican contingent.
And Chris is in the middle holding court.
Chris is right in the middle, laughing, joking around. These guys are roaring. I mean, you couldn't ignore them if you wanted to. And Shaloma was like very confused, like, and she thought it was like a cover up. Like she thought like, oh no, like they don't know how else to do, and they're just laughing about it. And both me and Daddy separately were like, no, this is kind of what guys do. And it's not complete. It's not the only way that you have to grieve. But for us, it's actually part of it. It's in the joking and the banter, and that's actually like, it's incredibly connecting. And sometimes that's actually the best way guys can connect when things are really difficult and you're not ready to have those, more deeper level conversations.
Some of the greatest times that I've had out with friends, not a lot of talking, but great memories because we watched the game together.
Right.
Just being in each other's presence when you're talking about going to a game. Just being at the game together matters.
Yeah.
And are we communicating? No, we're connecting. And if the purpose of communication is connection.
Yeah, that's a good point.
On whatever level.
Yeah.
Doesn't that matter? Now, how you get there, man, I always forget it, but I think it is Augustine, Saint Augustine. He said, "Preach and preach at all times."
Yeah, and if necessary, use words. I think Saint Francis of Assisi said.
Yes, it was Saint Francis of Assisi. He's smart. It's just powerful.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example using that same funeral because that left obviously an indelible mark on all of us.
Yeah.
Chris, that's Shaloma's dad, when his son passed away, he goes up and he's like, I don't want to say a lot of words. I'm just going to read some scripture.
Yeah.
And man, he ripped everybody's heart, but everyone's laughing and enjoying in such an emotionally charged moment.
Yeah.
You know what he did? He read it in patois.
He read 1 Corinthians 13 in patois Bible. It was amazing.
It was, and with animation.
Oh, yeah.
It was powerful. And half the room had no idea what the man was saying. But they could feel where it was coming from.
Yeah.
So was it about the words? Right. No, it was a man expressing himself native to who he is, and there's an allowance for that. And I think if we create more allowances for men to speak in their native ability to send out connection, you'll find it picked up more naturally and more natively. Now, if you want to bend me and tell me how I should, so, I by the way, I have my notes here. I have like 7 steps of great communication. Okay. It's always good to train our communication. But what are we training? We're training the baseline or the very clay that God has given us to begin with, because we are all effective in communicating, but based on how we're wired. So am I supposed to change how I communicate? Because of what? No, see, let's train the clay that we have, not change the clay that we are. Because if we change who we are fundamentally, we lose our authenticity.
Yeah.
When I speak naturally, and my younger daughter, same way, her volume, and the older one actually. Sorry to her mom, to their moms, but because my wife is very quiet.
Yeah.
She's not outspoken, but when my daughters get going, they get going.
Oh yeah.
And their volume increases.
Yeah.
And when they get excited, and my wife's like, shh, no, not shh. Let them be who they are. Now, are there ways to train a loud voice? Yes.
Yeah.
But you got to start with their baseline.
Yeah, you can't clip the wings.
And so males, if we have a tendency to get a little excited, like when Chris gets together with his people, Shalom his dad, and all these Jamaican men sit around, it gets loud.
Yeah, it's not quiet.
It gets rowdy, right?
Yeah.
Let them.
Yeah.
Well, no, you should. No, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's okay to be loud. And if somebody has a problem with your clay, that's their challenge, because you can't change your clay, but you can train your clay. And so I would encourage men at large is to embrace who you are and then train who you are to be more effective. But if we're trading our clay for a process or a 5-step process, that introduces challenges, because then you're losing your authenticity.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that you can't really have healthy communication if there's no authenticity. Yeah.
And you see the difference, though. You see the difference when somebody's on stage and they're reading from a teleprompter.
Right.
People know.
Yeah.
Okay, so from a neuroscience perspective, there's 2 things that the human brain picks up on automatically without you having to do anything. We are all wired natively by God to do this. There's 2 things. We can all suss out a fake smile and a real smile. The human mind knows if it's fake or real. You're not trained to do that. It just naturally knows that. The other thing that the human mind, God-given mind that we have, deciphers immediately, a real laugh and a fake laugh.
Okay.
Now, there's other things, but if we just lift on that, the fact that people will recognize the differences, then why fake the funk? Why fake it?
Yeah. So, okay, so I have an interesting question for you now, because I would say in the last 15 years, this whole authenticity thing has gotten very interesting. Because number one, it's kind of like a buzzword, right? Authenticity, vulnerability, like how many, conversations and podcasts have we heard about this? But then you also have a new contingent of people that are like influencers online. And I've had this experience myself, but I also have, some friends that have huge platforms, get big names on their show. And they're like, you can tell basically the minute somebody steps in, if they're actually that person on camera as well. And one guy in particular told me, he said, you would be shocked at how many influencers are amazing on camera, and they're dynamic and charismatic, and they'll tell it to you straight, and they're like a shell of a person when they actually get face to face. So how do you think technology has impacted? I'm just asking past tense. Obviously there's an AI conversation, which is maybe the follow-up there. But how do you think that's impacted some of these dynamics where you have, I guess, not as much courage required to be authentic or to communicate your message, online, because it's easier to do that instead of having a more honest conversation face to face?
Yeah, fundamentally, years ago, one of the reasons, I would just say one of the reasons there was a demise in newspapers and long form articles is because we ingest and take content in by snippets.
True.
And so because it has shrunk the amount of content, we had to now amp up the content. And when we amp up that content, because now if we live by snippets and we consume by snippets, and you better have the best snippet, maybe not the best lifestyle. So now it created this opportunity as humans to do it for the gram.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You do it for the clip. You do it for your YouTube short.
Right.
And it's shrinking and it's shrinking and it's shrinking and it's shrinking. Now, I'm going to go back to the 80s. Shout out to Family Ties. If you know, you know. Some sitcoms back in the day. Yes, I'm showing off my gray hair a little bit. But the camera angles used to stay on the scene upwards of 44 seconds.
Wow.
Crazy, right? The same camera angle.
Yeah.
Right? And then it shrunk and it shrunk and it shrunk. By the 2000s, it was down to 8 seconds.
Wow.
Then obviously in mid 90s, they introduced like The Office One Cam.
Yeah.
And one cam was a different modality to intake
Yes.
and consume content, right?
Yeah.
And then it shrunk to, at some places, 4 seconds to switch camera. Now, in your studio, by the way, your studio's fantastic, by the way.
Thanks.
In here, we got 1, we got 2, we got 3 cameras.
Right.
And guaranteed, and shout out to Adrian, powerful, right? She's awesome.
She's crushing it.
She is crushing it, and the rest of your team. Different times, she'll be changing the angles, changing the angles, changing the angles. Why do we have 3 cameras versus 1? Why can't we? It's because people intake content in a very different way. Now, to get back to the question, right? It's because we have shrunk, and now we only need to live in snippet. But we don't. We actually need to live outside of the snippet. And that's hard. Now, you use the example of influencers. You use the example of people who are, this is what they do professionally. They turn it on and they turn it off.
Yeah.
Now, what people think of Stephen Furtick is outside of this conversation. I'll use him as an example. I think he's one of the greatest communicators. He's a very effective communicator.
Definitely. Yeah.
And he did this one behind the scenes thing
Okay.
of him recording some videos. And I loved it because he says that naturally he does not smile.
Okay.
He says he has a certain type of resting face. Fill in the blank, okay? Fill in the blank. And he shows himself as another off camera, right? Showing himself. And then sees the camera turns off. And he's like going back to his regular state. You know, performance matters. So perhaps in the example that you gave, it's about performance. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? But what if that's carrying us forward in everyday life? That's where the challenge leaks out of the camera, is if we turn it on and turn it off on a regular basis. See those influencers that sit in those seats with your podcast community, they have to perform. It's what they do professionally.
Yeah, true.
So it's not that I would give them a pass,
Yeah.
but it's almost like it's what they do.
Yeah.
They're professional communicators.
Yes.
But to do it on a regular basis,
Yeah.
one of the big concept of connection and being vulnerable is trust. So I'm just going to lean into that
Let's go.
just a little bit. But trust, like all things, is subject to corrosion. We live under the law of atrophy. We you know, some people say the day we are born, we begin the process of dying. Like if you wash your car today, you're going to have to wash it again in 10 days.
Yeah.
Because just run your finger along it. You're like, oh, look at all that dust. We live in a world where it is decaying. In other words, trust will rust. What's important, if we take that into a communication frame and forum, is not the communication skills we built or relationships that we built, but it's the communication skills and the relationships that we maintain. And how do you maintain communication? Matters more than the great conversation that you may have had at a one-off. How do you invest on a daily to ensure that you stay higher? Are you okay if we lean into that a little bit more?
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
In sales, we'll call them Touchpoints. So big part of my life is being a sales leader for a couple of different organizations and did sales training for years and absolutely love the art of influence. To me is what sales is. It's just generating influence. That's all it is. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Can I generate influence for you and serve your needs, right? It's pretty simple. Now, how you go about it, there's different methodologies. Now, how do we, the concept of touch points is, to me, sales has always been a journey of touch points. Now, how many times do I have to connect with you before you get to a place where I don't need to exert force, but there's a natural place where you feel more comfortable to sign with me versus feeling coerced? How many touch points does it take? Generally speaking, depending on the product or service, you're looking at 6 to 11 touch points.
Okay.
Now, again, it depends on what we are talking about.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
It's a high ticket item, might take a little longer.
Yeah.
But if it's a chocolate bar and you saw a commercial, touch point. And then you saw an ad somewhere, touch point. You're scrolling, oh, there's that chocolate bar. You go to the grocery store, I'm buying that Snickers. It might take a couple of touch points and it yields. But what if it's, I want to own your heart? How many touch points does it take to build and own your heart? I want to buy you. Like I want to buy into this relationship and I want you to buy into me. Building trust. And so it's really interesting. During the Super Bowl, we just saw a bunch of amazing ads.
Yeah.
Amazing ads, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why do these companies, everybody knows who they are. Why are they putting out ads at the Super Bowl? Like to afford an ad at Super Bowl, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it was something like 5 or 6 million to...
It's something like that. Yeah, it's like $1 million for every handful of seconds.
And my apologies if I got the number wrong, but it's really interesting. The budget alone sometimes equals the buy costs of your spot. So if you're buying for whatever the cost, $2 million, your production costs... You saw some of the names on these Super Bowl ads, right? Like some of these commercials, like multiple stars. You know what their budget was to get all these stars in the same? Why do they need to? Because they understand a principle. I need to maintain my position. I need to constantly be present.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Touch points. Even after what's sad is seeing couples at restaurants or driving in the car, not saying a word to each other.
Yeah.
What happened? You guys were like chatty, can't keep your hands off each other. And now you're like just sitting there in the restaurant sharing a meal. Where was the breakdown? And so that constant, even if it's small, touch point. So in communication, if we can take the concept of touch points, doesn't have to be big. Just, hey, in a marital perspective, hey, hon, thinking about you. That's all. I gotta go. Bye. We both know couples that won't speak to each other all day, but they'll see each other in the morning and they'll see each other when they get home. But what about just like a, hey, hope your day's going well. Just like quick note.
I've had to get better at that. Yeah.
Maybe she'll almost send me to talk to you. I'm joking, but what if it could just be twice a day, just checking in, hope your day is going well.
Yeah.
Maybe like, what's the point of having 442 contacts in your phone if you only call them when you need something?
Yeah, right.
Why can't it just be like connection roulette? Just, you know what? And just send them a note. All right. Randy, I haven't spoken to you for a while. Rigo, I haven't spoken to you for a while. And just a quick note. How much effort does it take? So I turned it into fun.
Okay.
I call it roulette.
Okay, nice.
I literally, if one of my daughters is sitting beside me, say, spin. And they know exactly what I'm talking about. They'll pick up my phone, they'll spin it. And if I felt like you need to be in my phone, but I don't feel like I can reach out to you, why? Spin, speakerphone. Hey, what's going on? You're on speaker. Nala's right here. Just wanted to quickly say hello. And we do roulette all the time.
Wow, cool.
Is that for me? No, it's a discipline to stay connected with those who I want to have better communication with.
Yeah.
Not because I'm after anything, but you know what's interesting? The more you stay connected and communicating, connected in communication with somebody, the easier it is to ask.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. So what about on the other side? We were talking about this before we hit record. So AI is here. Looks like it's not going anywhere by all counts. It's changing a lot of the content landscape, and this is what we were talking about because for the last like 10, 12 years, the incredible thing about all this tech is that you didn't need the huge multimedia facility to put out really high produced and polished content. An iPhone was enough. And now AI can match that. It's dirt cheap. Sometimes you can't tell. You're watching something. I mean, my friend showed me an ad the other day that he's running for his fitness app, and if he didn't tell me it was AI generated, I really would have thought it was just a person. I mean, the girl looked real. She sounded real. Everything. Like maybe the face was a little bit too perfect. Like whatever, there weren't the imperfections. That was about it. So now people want raw. Like they just want stuff that for sure is human, and I don't have to question it, and I know I'm still connecting with that person.
Yeah.
What do you think like some of this stuff looks like in the days ahead? Even from, I know you like thinking about how people are consuming content. That's something we talk about a lot. But what do you think is going to happen in the future here as AI starts to emerge more?
Only a stab in the dark that I could offer is as soon as we offer up a thought, technology is changing so rapidly that the thought that we throw out today may not be applicable.
Yeah, by the time this thing even comes out, who knows?
In 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's maintain what you want.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want out of your relationships?
Yeah.
Regardless of technology, if it decides for us, whether it's or is it a tool in our hand? And that's really where I think AI is powerful when we limit its ability to penetrate our existence. Right. It is simply a tool out here, but not in here.
Yes.
And so if we use technology in a way where it is a tool to advance what we have predetermined its purpose, it's powerful.
Yeah.
But as soon as the tool starts treating us like a tool, and it starts programming us, that's where there is a problem. So I have no problem with AI and the way that it is generating content, the way that it is helping your friend create these fitness videos with, it looks amazing, and the cost is significantly lower to do it than that. You need to rent out this camera, lights, right, and all the stuff that we have in here. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So for me, I see it a little differently, that even if it's great, guys, I find, will have the ability to take the kernel and the nugget out of it regardless of the production. And that's a gift that guys have. We're able to deduce and drill down.
Yeah.
So from a communication perspective for men, whether it is a perfect commercial or a not so good commercial, do you find we're sitting around, oh my gosh, that, and then the lighting?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if men in general, you would be, because this is your world. You live in this space, so you would notice the difference in the nuance.
Yeah.
You would be able to split that hair to see the difference between this and that. Like the fact that you saw the imperfection in the face.
Yeah.
I don't even know what color that car was that drove by. I know what type of car it was. Our ladies might know the color of the car.
Yes, but not the make and model.
I'll know the make and the model.
Yeah.
Now, is that always the case? No, again, we're not here. It's possible to celebrate men without bashing women, okay? So just want to make sure everybody's good with that. We're not bashing any women. We're just celebrating men.
Yeah.
And it is okay. So I'm not certain that AI will have that much of a dramatic effect, except on one thing: authenticity and vulnerability. Because if we're training ourselves to consume plastic, in and out, I won't say garbage in, garbage out, but everything, because we can consume a lot of stuff. Whatever we consume comes out.
Yeah.
The challenge becomes, is that the level of perfection that I need to perform at? And if I can't perform at that AI level of perfection, then maybe I shouldn't at all. That to me is the challenge when it comes to communicating. Now, because we communicate in more than verbal, that ad communicates. You put together an ad, right? So it's his agent, right? It's his proxy speaking for him.
Yeah.
So if we're letting perfection speak, it's harder to come with vulnerabilities and our flaws. That's the challenge that I see with AI, right? And so now, how do we have an authentic, real communication when majority of the day I've been receiving perfection in my messaging, and then you want to come with this weak sauce? You're tilting my brain, because all day I've just been seeing perfection. That I see is where it impacts the interaction of conversation.
Yeah, and even the standard. But I know beginning of this year, the CEO of Instagram, what's his name? Adam Mosseri, I think.
Okay.
He was like, hey, whatever level of creator you are, this is for everyone. He's like, in the AI age, the best thing you can do is just create natural, honest content. Because he said, the more polished you try to be, the more you're just going to get pushed out. It's exactly what you're saying. Like plastic, like basically AI can do it better than you. So don't do that. Don't try to keep up. And what will actually make you separate the most is just being authentic, like just being yourself, because AI can't replicate that no matter how hard it tries.
AI versus AI versus AI, they're in the same bucket. But there's one thing that God created that no one will ever be able to replicate: you. So and that was also in his messaging.
Yes.
That he was talking about. There's nobody that can replicate the goodness and the perfection
Fearfully and wonderfully made.
that you are, right?
Yeah.
And so I love what you're saying there. My younger daughter, she got into sales. Surprise,
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Surprise. Yeah. Being in my world, I find that she's a very enthusiastic communicator.
Definitely.
She really enjoys communicating.
Yeah.
And she says, I just want to sit here and say nothing when she came home from work and she is still talking. Like, I thought you got it all out over there. No, you still have.
No way. You're like the sales extraordinaire. Like, she's going to come home. I'm sure that doesn't surprise me at all.
And so when she was, she worked really hard. She works really hard. And in her first few months, she was always coming home trying to practice her pitch. And her challenge was she just couldn't perfect her pitch, her phone pitch specifically. She just was struggling through it. I was like, baby girl, is that what you want to be? You want to have a perfect pitch, or do you want to just connect? And what it came down to, I was just reminding her that too much polish makes plastic. And people know the difference between, again, a fake smile and a real smile, a fake laugh and a real laugh. The power in her performance is, and in anyone's performance in a sales environment for communicating, is what you're saying. Just be you. Now, are there levels to you?
Of course.
Fundamentally, I believe that we all have a responsibility to be better at what we're better at. All of us are better at something than the person to our left and to our right.
Yeah.
It's not about being a generalist, but what are you great at? What is it that God designed you that, like, for example, some people love numbers. I am never deleting my calculator app off my phone, even though I enjoy numbers.
Yeah.
Because it's just not my natural inclination, right? But when it comes to, hey, you want a conversation? Let's go all day.
Yeah.
Some guys are just like, yeah, no, thanks, shut up. Like, I have nothing more to say.
Sure.
So what are you better at? Become and lean into it. It's just that we're, as humans, we all have a responsibility to communicate. We all have.
Yes.
Why? Because as humans, we were meant and designed to live in community. So how do we become more effective in living in community? There's a common word there, communication. Now, I'm not going to get into the etymology of the word, but there's a strong link between building community and communication. Bible says, how can two walk together lest they agree? Effectively, we're saying, what the Bible is saying is, hey, can there be a common ground that we get to work towards and work on? There is a strong responsibility to grow in our communication. And that's a baseline, universal skill that everyone needs to develop. Well, I'm an introvert. Congratulations. I'm an extrovert. Congratulations. That has nothing to do with the responsibility to live in community, which means live in better communication. We have a responsibility.
That's interesting because I think we talked about this at the beginning. Like, men get bashed in this conversation a lot. Men are bad communicators. They're bad listeners. They're, whatever. Hopefully, we've corrected that a little bit in this conversation. But also culturally, we're coming out of a time where, like, for a while, it felt like a little bit weird to be a man. Just like general masculine traits were not okay all of a sudden, right? And I think that narrative has shifted. But I sense that in even the guys that are in our community, and I would say the guys that I'm buddies with, I feel like guys are still a little bit gun shy to really just be men and masculine because of some of the backlash that's happened the last couple of years around those subjects.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep the toilet seat up, keep the toilet seat up. Is that what you mean? Just fight the power?
I guess.
Yeah, maybe not. Right? It's a fun conversation is, should the man keep the toilet seat down for the woman, or should the woman keep the toilet seat up for the man?
Interesting.
I'm not saying which one it is.
Right.
Especially not out loud on camera. I'm not going to do it. It's just interesting. Men should be more chivalrous.
Right.
I didn't pronounce that properly, but that's okay. We are the ones that need to. We are the ones that need to. We are the ones that need to. And it's great that there's this strong demand on defining what a man should do. What about what a woman should do is not a part of our conversation. That's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about, hey, how do we as men become more effective? But it starts with what you said. And you just said, is it okay to be a man? And then define what a man is.
Right.
And then go and be it.
Yeah.
Now, you get to define what a man is. Because you get to define who God made you to be. You get to listen to what God made you to be. I think, my natural bent is always going to go back to purpose. One of the best baby dedications that I've had the privilege of being a part of, Pastor Kevin Glago at Humberley Worship Center in Etobicoke, Ontario, Canada. And this is how he does his baby dedications. He says, thank God, and we bless God for choosing you to be a boy. And we thank God and we celebrate God that he chose you to be a girl. So lean into your girliness and be the best girl out there. Lean into your boyiness, really weird word. Lean into your gender and celebrate it. But what does it mean to be a man? It does not mean that we're like the TV show Everyone Loves Raymond and he's an idiot and he doesn't know how to communicate and is all bumbling and stumbling and his wife is the smart, witty one that always, is the right one. And all the other examples that we see on TV of men being idiots and women have it all together.
Yeah, it's kind of that's a really interesting thought. If you actually go through the sitcoms over the last 20, 30 years, you think of Homer Simpson, Everybody Loves Raymond, Phil Dunphy in Modern Family, the dads specifically are portrayed a certain way. It's interesting.
So do we have a responsibility to change that? No, we have a responsibility to change ourselves. And when there's a mass of men listening today, for example, that would say, hey, I get to define my parameters. I get to lean into God's design for my life, and I can be the fullness of what I have always felt instead of being told what I am. Even parenting, we see examples of, we're all a function of our environments. And so what has been modeled for us, was it right or wrong? Now, I'm not going to go there in detail. Yeah. But the point is, we're trained by what we consume. And if what we've been consuming through social media, what we've been consuming through TV, if that's training us, that's a problem. And we see a lot of weakness in men. Wait a second. Don't we see a lot of weakness on TV as far as what men are being portrayed as?
Interesting.
Now, if a man stands up and lets his roar out, I'm not saying in a violent way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying yelling. No. I'm saying if a man stands up for what a man believes in, oh, he's being such a man. Yes, he is being a man. He's taking a stand. He's defending. He's protecting his territory. And if a couple was walking down the street and a couple of burglars showed up on the scene. Burglar is a weird word, right? So a couple of bad characters showed up on the scene and they want to hurt the woman, take something from them and rob them. If a man isn't trained to take a stand in that moment, oh no, you should just give them what they want. Okay, if that's your approach, fine. But in my heart, I feel like I need to protect and take a stand. Is that okay? And don't rob me of that ability to tap into my inner nature that God has designed me to be a protector for my family. Don't rob me of that because you feel that the alternative is better. Good for you, but don't rob me of what I feel innately is to protect. Innately is to. That's a challenge.
So how do you, so I think this is actually such a great landing spot for this. How do you create space? Because I think this is something that we're really bad at right now culturally, is it's either you agree with me or you don't. And if you don't agree with me, I cancel you. You're a whatever, you fill in your blank, right? We throw labels on people and we just assume, oh, if you think this, we make all these conclusions about your life philosophy, what you stand for, your core values, your character, everything. So I think, and again, whether you blame politics or media or whatever,
Sure.
we really are bad at holding space. Because you just said, like, I think you gave a great example of like, there's a scenario and everybody listening probably had a slightly different response of how they handle that scenario, whether they'd rise up, defend themselves, fight back, or back away and give everything, whatever. I mean, depends on if you got a gun to your head as well. Like there's some other details that matter there.
Of course.
But the point is, not everybody responds the same. Even the same thing, once you have conversations about like toxic masculinity, it's such a bullcrap conversation because, well, number one, masculinity isn't toxic. It's an oxymoron anyway. But more importantly, it's like actually you can't just put a bunch of people into a category based on one quality or characteristic. But I think we've lost it. Like how many people are in our lives that even in our family that we could have a conversation with about politics and it not just going completely off the rails because it's so charged and we don't have that ability to have space for our differences. So how do we do that? Because I feel like there was a time where you could have those conversations. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I'm only 35. I know you've been around a bit longer, but I feel like there was a time where you could disagree respectfully without typecasting people. Sure, it would get intense. Obviously, once you start talking about religion, politics, like those have always been heated subjects. Don't get me wrong. It just feels like we've lost space for disagreements, difference of opinions, or even just our unique qualities that are actually God-given. How do we create space for that again?
This past weekend, I was away for, shout out to Davis. He was his 50th birthday, so a bunch of us went away for the weekend.
Cool.
And there's 8 guys, okay? I'm the only Christian in the group.
Okay.
And so we go away, so naturally there's going to be some differences.
Yeah.
Okay. You can imagine what 8 guys were participating in.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
You can imagine what 8 guys were saying and doing. And then guys, you know what's interesting? The freedom that I felt in that room from them, it was all like majority of them were exhaling because they didn't have to perform and be a certain way. They could just be, period. And that freedom came from being around guys.
Right.
And I saw liberties. I saw one guy who's pretty reserved, just talking a lot. But in other settings, he's not saying a lot. And it was just a beautiful moment for guys to be guys. Just have that liberty. And it's interesting that you bring this up because my drive home, we were 2 hours away, so I had a little bit of time to think and reflect on the weekend. And on the way home, I was wondering, hey, when they go back, will they feel a measure of, I'm using this word on purpose, bondage, that bounds them up? Now, not chains, but holds a part of them back. And how do we begin to express to men that it is okay to be men? And just seeing them with each other brought a little bit of joy and a little bit like, I don't need to be in this room and hearing this stuff, man, because we can take it too far.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that everything was in bounds, but there were liberties. I think that if we're more responsible with our liberties, men would be trusted more with effective communication.
Okay. More responsible with our liberties.
Men would be more trusted with and understood as more effective communicators. So, for example, but there are a few single guys that were there this weekend. I'm not saying
divorced or single.
Right. I was just about to go there. Right. I was just about to go there.
Okay.
And it was interesting observation to see the ones who are on to their second marriage or out of marriage saying some pretty vile things towards women. And you wonder if that played a role in them no longer being with their, because they just couldn't be responsible with their communication. And the ones there who have, decent length in their marriage, right? More than 15 years in their marriage were more measured. in their community. Still having liberty to be free to communicate, but measured in their words. Their communication is a responsibility for ourselves, but the impact is on our community. Now, we feel it shameful. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I should have said this. Maybe and regret and shame, perhaps. But the impact is on others. And so while I'm away on this weekend, I'm looking around at all these guys, and I'm just loving the fact that they're free. I know all these guys for years, right?
Yeah.
And it was great. And I'm the only Christian in the room. I didn't say a word about Jesus. I didn't bring up the Bible once. I did not. I did not have to say a word. Majority of the guys are either Hindu, Sikh, Muslim guy in the room, and a couple of atheists. Okay, we made this amazing meal. By the way, guys can cook. Okay.
True.
Okay, we can cook. We made steaks, some chimichurri sauces. One guy, Neeraj, shout out to Neeraj, he baked these potatoes. Like, it was just a great meal, right?
Yeah.
And we're about to partake. Davis, whose birthday we were celebrating, he's looking around. Okay, guys, Shiraz is going to do his thing. Shiraz is going to do his thing.
Okay.
Like, what is that thing? I was like, oh, he wants me to pray. So you got a bunch of guys. You can imagine what they were ingesting. And everybody's just like doing whatever and I'm trying my best just to be like, okay, not judge anybody. I'm not judging anybody. But in the middle of it, the communication of my lifestyle spoke volumes to the point where he wanted me to gather everybody, bow our heads, and pray. And he knows that I'm going to pray in the name of Jesus.
Right.
And I did, and I blessed the meal.
Yeah.
And then we continued the evening. My lifestyle communicated more than my preaching. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question or not. I just wanted to color and add to the thought of what you were expressing there.
Yeah.
It's possible to communicate without words because we're doing it all the time. But here's the last thing I would say. Whether you take a stand for what you believe or not, whether you speak up or not, people are going to judge you anyways. If you stay quiet, he didn't do anything right. You take a stand, you're going to get anyways. It doesn't matter what you do. There's a hater for you right now, and you did nothing. If you do something, there's haters for you.
Yeah.
The truth is, you don't want to hate you. So do what you feel is necessary and communicate and take a stand. Because when we take a stand, the world can change. And I think that's would to land. The reason why effective communication matters is because it's so loose right now. Everything goes.
Yeah.
Everything goes right now. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
That everything goes right now.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. And because of that, our families are undefined. Because men stopped defining as the priests of their homes what our families should be. They've stopped defining possibilities for their children. They've stopped discipline, not from a smack on the butt. That's not what I'm talking about. The discipline meaning, hey, this is the structure in our home. And we've weakened our constant communication of what expectation and structure is in our home. We've stopped communicating boundaries. And because we've stopped communicating boundaries of what is black and white, and we created this huge gray space.
Yes.
Why? Because in our homes, we haven't done a great job of reinforcing the communication. And then when they break that bond, our trust is already corroded and rust has set in. Then now it's just so easy and the gates are flung wide open. So I would say, again, to land, communication is so important to bring back a steady societal norms.
Yeah.
Again, discipline is enforcing. I'm not saying spanking. I'm not even going there at all. I'm simply saying discipline is saying, hey, this is what's in bounds, but it's a man's responsibility in their home to reinforce that when they're in concert with their wife. Let me just add that for women. It's when they're in concert
Yes.
together in
They're
unity
honestly
saying, hey,
together, yeah.
define what our family is,
Yeah.
and our children will understand boundaries as
Yeah.
they grow up.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay, I know we say we're landing, but I want to push into this a bit more. This is really
Sure.
good because passivity. I still remember this. Lake Mount, they do men's breakfast. I think maybe quarterly. They're always packed, and they're amazing. And I still remember probably 2 years ago now, the guy who is kind of leading the men's ministry. He got up and he shared for probably about 15 minutes, and he just kind of basically confessed, I have been operating in passivity as a man. And he talked about how he was doing it at home, how he was doing it at work, and how it was like affecting his life and what God was talking about to him, like through him and everything else. And in our small group after his talk, there were a couple guys that gave talks, but everybody was talking about his talk and about passivity. I think it really hit home. And I've observed this sort of, and maybe this is tying back to before where like, it was bad to be a guy for a little bit. So guys got a little bit quiet, a little bit passive. What I hear you talking about there with just communicating at home, being consistent, being steady about it, not being afraid to be vocal, not being afraid of the conflict, because sometimes the best communication actually happens in the conflict. Obviously with the right skills and like we were saying, the right responsibility. Talk to me a little bit about maybe the guy who's listening that is feeling a little bit passive. Maybe it's not even gun shy, but just struggling with that passivity. And let's talk about it especially in the home, like as it pertains to marriage, raising kids, all of that. What should a guy do if he's feeling passive?
Yeah, number one, understand that you matter. Your voice matters. It has weight. It is okay to let the lion whimper until it develops into a roar. And again, let me redefine roar. It's not violent. It is not yelling. It is simply reinforcing your position. Now, you can do that in ways that have nothing to do with being loud and violent. It's just being committed to your cause. Even before you can commit to a cause, understand what you stand for. What do you stand for? And then take a stand. Now, how you take a stand is internal, but eventually it has to become external. People need to know what you believe and what you stand for. And that comes from crafting your communication. Write it out. I stand for. I believe this. This is who I am. This is who I am becoming. God is for me. He is not against me. And we get our manifesto for ourselves internally ingested because what we ingest will come out. I think a lot of that heavy work is an internal job. It's an inside job.
Yeah.
And once you become more convicted about who you are,
Yeah.
you know the interesting thing? People will be able to define you.
Yes.
Because it will become apparent.
Yeah.
So if we consider communication to be an external effort, there is an internal work to take a stand. And I think what we need to communicate more is to ourselves to say what we're willing to put up with. What are we really willing to put up with? You know, at some point, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Like at some point, Jacob had a great life. In the Bible, book of Genesis, there's this guy, Jacob, and he has a fight with his brother Esau, and he takes off. And he takes off, but there's something about him that always wants to return to where he left. But he had a great life. He had a great life.
Yeah.
But his great life wasn't good enough for him because there was an internal wrestling in him that he finally said, enough is enough. I want to go and be who I really am. I'm tired of the disguise.
Yeah.
I'm tired of faking the funk. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like there's more in me yearning and crying out. There must be more to this.
Yeah.
Then wrestle with that voice. Communicate with that voice.
Yeah.
You know what he did? He went, and the Bible says he went back and he wrestled with God. And what did he wrestle for? His identity. And then he was plainly able to communicate that to everyone else. This isn't. This is not.
Yeah.
When communication becomes effective, when we stop blurring the lines and we take a permanent Sharpie and we draw a line.
Yeah.
And I think it's time for men, if we want more in our lives, communication begins with drawing that line.
Yeah.
Internally, draw the line.
Yeah.
Draw the line. Say, I'm not going to put up with this anymore.
Yeah.
This is insignificant to me. That matters. And draw those lines. But that internal conversation is what has been snuffed out. And when we're talking about communication is always this external thing. But then mindset experts, and you've had people like that on this very podcast talk about mindset. That is an internal communication. It's the internal memos that we overlook that in the concept of communication.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to open up another front of conversation.
That's fine.
But the internal memos.
Yeah.
Who's been writing them?
Yeah.
Who's been handing them to you? You need to lead the charge of your internal communication and align it with what is already eternal internally. So the eternal one has deposited internal communication. It's in our DNA.
Yeah.
Again, we have a good sense. We've gotten clues and cues. He's already communicated to us that some of us are athletic, some of us are not, but we'll try to the day we die, right? Some of us enjoy the gift of gab. Some of us don't.
Right.
But we're overlooking a portion of communication. So one of the ways that I think that we develop that internal communication is quietness. And see, being alone is not lonely. Because when you're alone, you get to be with yourself, and that's powerful. But read the notes. Read the notes.
Yeah.
Read the notes.
Yeah,
read the notes. And it's that internal communication that is creating a challenge with our external expression.
Yeah.
And again, that external expression is what everybody judges. But if we had taken the time to judge our internal communication,
Yes.
like me and me, it would be expressed externally, more aligned with eternity.
That's good. It's really good. I like the story of Jacob because after he wrestled with God, God changed his name.
Let's go.
Right? Like, and I think it's actually such a good point. Everything we've talked about in this conversation so far actually first hinges on your wrestle with God. And that's actually an internal game. I mean, Jacob had a limp, like the metaphor breaks down a little bit, right? But that's an inside job, like you said. And this is, I think, if people get nothing else from this conversation, this was well worth it because this is really the crux of it. And it's not because, again, as Bible-believing men, this is not just about positive psychology, positive self-talk. We're actually talking about that dialogue that you have, yes, within yourself, but also with God. And when those two have a confluence, when there's an integration there, that's actually when you're really going to eliminate passivity, become a strong communicator, become clear about what you stand for. Like all the benefits we're talking about starts at anchor, but first you actually have to win that wrestle.
Yeah, absolutely. And when the Bible says, let your yea be nay, yea be yea, and your nay meaning let your yes be yes, and your no be no, how will you ever be able to say yes or no if everything goes?
Right.
Decide. Effective communication that comes with conviction is powerful. Be convicted about what you say yes to and stand on business and say no. And everything will grow from there. But know your yes and know your no, but know who you are. Everything flows a lot more effectively from that place.
Shiraz, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do it?
I do have people reach out to me all the time wanting to connect. Hey, can we have coffee? We want this, want that. The greatest gift that I feel that I can give anybody is I've already captured it in a book called Well Done. You can get it on Amazon. Well Done, A Passionate Pursuit of Purpose, author Shiraz Siddique. Just find it on Amazon and you can pick it up there. If people are really interested in their eternal moment, there's this Judgment Day scene where they're standing before God and he says, "Depart from me, I knew you not." To me, that's a very sobering moment. But what really gripped me and grabbed me where they said, Lord, we did really good things in your name.
Yeah.
One of them says, we cast out demons in your name. And we both know in Pentecostal settings, if you're the one laying hands on somebody and demons flying, you're considered a super Christian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait, the Bible said that person who we labeled super Christian doesn't make it into eternity.
Yeah.
We better figure that out. And so there's a lot of communication constructs in the book. So that would be a great way to get to know me a little bit more. But really, I wrote the book so people can get to know themselves more, to pursue who they are. And that internal pursuit, man, brings out external glory.
So good, man. Yeah, we'll put links in the show notes. Thanks for this conversation, man. It's awesome.